Your birth number is the most important number in your life because it cannot be changed, unlike your name number. It indicates your harmony note, which will last right till your last breath. It's related to the planet's influence on the day of your birth. Your birth number is the number of your birthday. So if you were born on the 6th of January, your birth number is 6. And if you're born on the 18th of March, you need to add those two digits together to get a single digit. So 1 plus 8 equals 9. So in this case, the birth number is 9. If a person is born on 29th of any month, they would add 2 to 9 to get 11, and then they would add 1 plus 1 to get a single digit of 2. In the system, master numbers like 11 and 22 do not apply. If you were born on the 10th day of any month, you add 1 and 0 together to get the number 1. So by now you should have easily calculated your birth number, and here is the list of corresponding planets. So if your birth number is 1, your planet is Sun. If your birth number is 2, it's Moon. If 3, it's Jupiter. If 4, it's Uranus. If 5, it's Mercury. If 6, it's Venus. If 7, it's Neptune. If 8, it's Saturn. And if 9, it's Mars. Here are the descriptions of each birth number from the writings of Shiro, from Shiro's Book of Numbers, who was able to accurately predict the most important dates and the time of death of many influential personalities of his time. I read his autobiography, and it's just amazing how many dates he predicted, important dates in the lives of many important persons of his time. I left out the information of secondary importance so that not to make this video long. I've included the table of contents in the description box of this video, so if you want to quickly jump to your number, please refer to the description box. If your number is 4 or 8, please check extra advice in towards the end of this video. So firstly, the number 1. The number 1 stands in the symbolism for the sun. It is the beginning, that by which all the rest of the 9 numbers were created. The basis of all numbers is 1. The basis of all life is 1. This number represents all that is creative, individual, and positive. Without going into further details, a person born under the birth number 1 or any of its series has the underlying principles of being in his or her work creative, inventive, strongly individual, definite in his or her views, and in consequence more or less obstinate and determined in all they as individuals undertake. This relates to all men and women born under the number 1, such as on the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th of any month, the addition of all these numbers making a 1. But more especially so if they happen to be born between the 21st of July and the 28th of August, which is the period of the zodiac called the House of the Sun, or from the 21st March to the 28th of April, when the Sun enters the vernal equinox and is considered elevated or all-powerful during this period. It is for this reason, which you will observe has a logical basis, that people born under the number 1 in these particular periods must have the qualities that I have given to all number 1 people in a distinctly more marked degree. Number 1 people are ambitious, they dislike restraint, they always rise in whatever their profession or occupation may be. They desire to become the heads of whatever their businesses are, and as departmental chiefs, they keep their authority and make themselves respected and looked up to by their subordinates. These number 1 people should endeavor to carry out their most important plans or ideas on all days that vibrate to their own number, such as on the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th of any month, but especially in those periods I have described before, namely from the 21st of July to the 28th of August, and from the 21st of March to the 28th of April. Outside of their own numbers, number 1 people get on well with persons born under the 2, 4, and 7, such as those born on the 2nd, 4th, 7th, 11th, 13th, 16th, 20th, 22nd, 25th, 29th, and 31st, especially those born in the strong periods indicated. The days of the week most fortunate for number 1 persons are Sunday and Monday, and especially so if one of their own numbers should also fall on that day, such as the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th. And next to that, there are interchangeable numbers of 2, 4, 7, such as the 2nd, 4th, 7th, 11th, 13th, 16th, 20th, 22nd, 25th, 25th, 29th, or 31st. The most fortunate colors for persons born under the number 1 are all shades of gold, yellows and bronze to golden brown. Their lucky jewels are topaz, amber, yellow diamond, and all stones of these colors. If possible, they should wear a piece of amber next their flesh. Number 2. The number 2 stands in symbolism for the moon. It has the feminine attributes of the sun, and for this reason alone, and although number 1 and number 2 people are decidedly opposite in their characters, their vibrations are harmonious and they make good combinations. Number 2 persons are gentle by nature, imaginative, artistic, and romantic. Like the number 1 people, they are also inventive, but they are not as forceful in carrying out their ideas. Their qualities are more on the mental than the physical plane, and they are seldom as strong physically as those born under the number 1. Number 2 people are all those who are born on the 2nd, 11th, 20th, and 29th in any month, but their characteristics are the more marked if they are born between the 20th June and the 22nd and the 27th of July, this period being what is called the house of the moon. I have added the 7 days of the cusp to the 20th July. Number 2 persons and number 1 vibrate together, and in a lesser degree with number 7 people, such as those born on the 7th, 16th, or 25th of any month. Number 2 persons should endeavor to carry out their chief plans and ideas on days whose numbers vibrate with their own, such as the 2nd, 11th, 20th, or 29th of any month, but more especially during the period of the 20th June to the 27th of July. The days of the week more fortunate or lucky for them are Sunday, Monday, and Friday. The reason Friday is favorable in this case is that it's governed by Venus, and especially so if, like the number 1 people, one of their own number should fall on either of these days, such as the 2nd, 11th, 20th, or 29th, and next to these there are interchangeable numbers of 1, 4, 7, such as the 1st, 4th, 7th, 10th, 13th, 16th, 19th, 22nd, 25th, 28th, or 31st. The chief faults they should guard against are being restless and unsettled, lack of continuity in their plans and ideas, and lack of self-confidence. They're also inclined to be oversensitive and too easily get despondent and melancholy if they are not in happy surroundings. For lucky colors, they should wear all shades of green, from the darkest to the lightest, also cream and white, but as far as possible they should avoid all dark colors, especially black, purple, and dark red. Their lucky stones and jewels are pearls, moonstones, pale green stones, and they should carry a piece of jade always with them, and if possible next to their skin. Number 3. The number 3 stands in symbolism for the planet Jupiter, a planet which plays a most important role both in astrology and in all systems of numerology. It is the beginning of what may be termed one of the main lines of force that runs right through all the numbers from 3 to 9. It has a special relation to every third in the series, such as 3, 6, 9, and all their additions. These numbers added together in any direction produce a 9 as their final digit, and the 3, 6, 9 people are all sympathetic to one another. Persons having a 3 for their birth number are all those who are born on the 3rd, 12th, 21st, or 30th in any month, But the number 3 has still more significance if they should be born in what is called the period of the 3, from the 19th February to March 20th to 27th, or from the 21st November to December 20th to 27th. Number 3 people, like the number 1 individuals, are decidedly ambitious. They are never satisfied by being in subordinate positions. Their aim is to rise in the world, to have control and authority over others. They are excellent in the execution of commands. They love order and discipline in all things. They readily obey orders themselves, but they also insist on having their orders obeyed. Number 3 people often rise to the very highest positions in any business, profession, or sphere in which they may be found. They often excel in positions of authority in the army or navy, in government, and in life generally, and especially in all posts of trust and responsibility, as they are extremely conscientious in carrying out their duties. Their faults are that they are inclined to be dictatorial, to lay down the law, and to insist on carrying out their own ideas. For this reason, although they are not quarrelsome, they succeed in making many enemies. Number 3 people are singularly proud. They dislike being under an obligation to others. They are also exceptionally independent and chafe under the last restraint. Number 3 people should endeavor to carry out their plans and aims on all days that vibrate to their own number, such as on the 3rd, 12th, 21st, and 30th of any month, but more especially when these dates fall in the period of the 3, such as from the 19th February to March 20th to 27th, and in the 21st November to December 20th to 27th. The days of the week more lucky for them are Thursday, Friday, and Tuesday, Thursday being the most important. These days are especially good if a number making a 3 should fall on it, such as the 3rd, 12th, 21st, or 30th. And next in order, there are interchangeable numbers of 6 and 9, such as the 6th, 9th, 15th, 18th, 24th, or 27th. Number 3 people are more in harmony with those born under their own number or under the 6 and 9, such as all those who are born on a 3rd, 12th, 21st, 30th, 6th, 15th, 24th, 9th, 18th, 27th. For lucky colors, they should wear some shade of mauve, violet, or purple, or some touch of these colors should always be with them, also in the rooms in which they live. All shades of blue, crimson, and rose are also favorable to them, but more as secondary colors. Their lucky stone is the amethyst. They should always wear one on their persons, and if possible wear it next to their skin. The number 4. The number 4 stands in its symbolism for the planet Uranus. It is considered related to the Sun, number 1, and in occultism is written as 4-1. Number 4 people have a distinct character of their own. They appear to view everything from an opposite angle to everyone else. In an argument, they will always take the opposite side, and although not meaning to be quarrelsome, yet they bring about opposition and make a great number of secret enemies who constantly work against them. They seem quite naturally to take a different view of anything that is presented to their minds. They instinctively rebel against rules and regulations, and if they can have their way, they reverse the order of things, even in communities and governments. They often rebel against constitutional authority and set up new rules and regulations either in domestic or public life. They are inclined to be attracted to social questions and reforms of all kinds, and are very positive and unconventional in their views and opinions. Number 4 people are all those who are born on the 4th, 13th, 22nd and 31st in any month. Their individuality is still more pronounced if they are born in the zodiacal period of the Sun and Moon, namely between the 21st June and July 20th to 27th Moon period, and from the 21st July to the end of August Sun period. Number 4 people do not make friends easily. They seem more attracted to persons born under the 1, 2, 7, and 8 numbers. They are seldom as successful in worldly and material matters as people born under the other numbers, and as a rule, they are more or less indifferent as to the accumulation of wealth. If they do acquire money or have it given to them, they generally surprise people by the way they employ it or the use they put it to. They should endeavor to carry out their plans and ideas on all days that have their number 4, such as the 4th, 13th, 22nd, or 31st of any month, but especially so if these dates come in their strong period from the 21st June to July 20th to 27th, or from the 22nd July to the end of August. The days of the week more fortunate or lucky for them are Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, especially so if their own number should fall on one of these days, such as the 4th, 13th, 22nd, or 31st. And next, in order, their interchangeable numbers of 1 to 7, such as the 1st, 2nd, 7th, 10th, 11th, 16th, 19th, 20th, 25th, 28th, or 29th. Their chief faults are that they are most highly strung and sensitive, very easily wounded in their feelings, inclined to feel lonely and isolated, and are likely to become despondent and melancholy unless they have achieved success. As a rule, they make few real friends, but to the few they have, they are most devoted and loyal, but are always inclined to take the part of the underdog in any argument or any case they espouse. For lucky colors, they should wear what are called half shades, half tones, or electric colors. Electric blues and grays seem to suit them best of all. Their lucky stone is the sapphire, light or dark, and if possible they should wear the stone next to their skin. Number 5. The number 5 stands in symbolism for the planet Mercury and is versatile and mercurial in all its characteristics. Number 5 people are all those who are born on the 5th, 14th, and 23rd in any month, but their characteristics are still more marked if they are born in what is called the period of the 5, which is from the 21st of May to June 20th to 27th, and from the 21st of August to September 20th to 27th. Number 5 people make friends easily and get on with persons born under almost any number, but their best friends are those who are born under their own number, such as the 5, 14th, and 23rd of any month. Number 5 people are mentally very highly strung. They live on their nerves and appear to crave excitement. They are quick in thought and decisions and impulsive in their actions. They detest any plodding kind of work and seem naturally to drift into all methods of making money quickly. They have a keen sense of making money by inventions and new ideas. They are born speculators, prone to stock exchange transactions, and generally are willing and ready to run risks in all they undertake. They have the most wonderful elasticity of character. They rebound quickly from the heaviest blow. Nothing seems to affect them for very long, like their symbol, Quicksilver, which Mercury represents. The blows of fate leave no indentations on their character. If they are by nature good, they remain so. If bad, not all the preaching in the world will make the slightest effect on them. Number 5 people should endeavor to carry out their plans and aims on all dates that fall under their own number, such as the 5th, 14th, or 23rd of any month, but more especially when these dates fall in the period of the 5, namely from the 21st May to June 20th to 27th, or from the 21st August to September 20th to 27th. The days of the week more fortunate or lucky for them are Wednesday and Friday, especially if their own number falls on one of these days. Their greatest drawback is that they exhaust their nervous strength to such an extent that they often fall victims to nervous breakdowns of the worst kind, and under any mental tension they easily become irritable and quick-tempered, unable to suffer fools gladly. Their lucky colors are all shades of light gray, white, and glistening materials, but just as they can make friends with people born under all kinds of numbers, so can they wear all shades of colors, but by far the best for them are light shades, and they should wear dark colors as rarely as possible. Their lucky stone is the diamond, and all glittering or shimmering things, also ornaments made of platinum or silver, and if possible they should wear a diamond set in platinum next to their skin. Number 6. The number 6 stands in symbolism for the planet Venus. Persons having a 6 as their birth number are all those who are born on the 6th, 15th, or 24th of any month, but they are more especially influenced by this number if they are born in what is called the house of the 6th, which is from the 20th of April to May 20th to 27th, and from the 21st September to October 20th to 27th. As a rule, all number 6 people are extremely magnetic. They attract others to them, and they are loved and often worshipped by those under them. They are very determined in carrying out their plans, and may in fact be deemed obstinate and unyielding, except when they themselves become deeply attached. In such a case, they become devoted slaves to those they love. Although number 6 people are considered influenced by the planet Venus, yet as a rule, theirs is more the mother love than the sensual. They lean to the romantic and ideal in all matters of the affections. In some ways, they take very strongly after the supposed qualities of Venus, in that they love beautiful things, they make most artistic homes, are fond of rich colors, also paintings, statuary, and music. If rich, they are most generous to art and artists. They love to entertain their friends and make everyone happy about them, but the one thing they cannot stand is discord and jealousy. When roused by anger, they will brook no opposition and will fight to the death for whatever person or cause they espouse, or out of their sense of duty. The number 6 people have got the power of making more friends than any other class, with the exception of the number 5, but especially so if with all persons born under the vibration of the 3, the 6, and the 9, or all their series. Their most important days in the week are Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and especially so if a number of 3, 6, or 9, such as the 3rd, 6th, 9th, 12th, 15th, 18th, 21st, 24th, 27th, or 30th should fall on one of those days. Number 6 people should endeavor to carry out their plans and aims on all dates that fall under their own number, such as the 6th, 15th, or 24th of any month, but more especially when these dates fall in the period of the 6th, namely between the 20th April and May 20th to 27th, or from the 21st September to October 20th to 27th. Their lucky colors are all shades of blue, from the lightest to the darkest, also all shades of rose or pink, but they should avoid wearing black or dark purple. Their lucky stone is especially the turquoise, and as far as possible they should wear one, or a piece of turquoise matrix next to their skin. Emeralds are also lucky for the number 6 people. Number 7. The number 7 stands in symbolism for the planet Neptune and represents all persons born under the 7, namely those who are born on the 7th, 16th, or 25th of any month, but more especially influences such persons if they were born from the 21st June to July 20th to 27th, the period of the zodiac called the House of the Moon. The planet Neptune has always been considered as associated with the moon, and as the part of the zodiac I have mentioned is also called the first house of water, the connection of Neptune, whose very name is always associated with water, is then logical and easily understood. Now, as the number of the moon is always given as a 2, this explains why it's that the number 7 people have as their secondary number the 2, and get on well and make friends easily with all those born under the moon numbers, namely the 2nd, 11th, 20th, and 29th of any month, especially so if they are born in the house of the moon, from the 21st June to the end of July. People born under the number 7, namely on the 7th, 16th, or 25th of any month, are very independent, original, and have strongly marked individuality. At heart, they love change and travel, being restless in their natures. If they have the means of gratifying their desires, they visit foreign countries and become keenly interested in the affairs of far-off lands. They devour books on travel and have a wide and universal knowledge of the world at large. They often make extremely good writers, painters, or poets, but in everything they do, they sooner or later show a peculiar philosophical outlook on life that tinges all their work. As a class, they care little about the material things of life. They often become rich by their original ideas or methods of business, but if they do, they are just as likely to make large donations from their wealth to charities and institutions. The women of this number generally marry well, as they are always anxious about the future and feel that they need some rock to rest on, lest the waters of fate sweep them away. The number 7 people have good ideas about business, or rather their plans are good if they will only carry them out. They have usually a keen desire to travel and read a great deal about far-off countries. If they can, they will become interested in matters concerning the sea, and in trade or business they often become merchants, exporters and importers, dealing with foreign countries, and owners or captains of ships if they can get the chance. Number 7 people have very peculiar ideas about religion. They dislike to follow the beaten track. They create a religion of their own, but one that appeals to the imagination and based on the mysterious. These people usually have remarkable dreams and a great leaning to occultism. They have the gift of intuition, clairvoyance, and a peculiar quieting magnetism of their own that has great influence over others. Number 7 people should endeavor to carry out their plans and aims on all days that fall under their own number, such as the 7th, 16th, or 25th of any month, but more especially when these dates fall in the period of the 7, namely from the 21st June to July 20th to 27th, and less strongly from that date to the end of August. The days of the week more fortunate or lucky for them are the same as for the number 2 people, namely Sunday and Monday, especially if their own number falls on one of those days, or their interchangeable numbers of 1, 2, 4, such as the 1st, 2nd, 4th, 10th, 11th, 13th, 19th, 20th, 22nd, 28th, 29th, or 31st. Their lucky colors are all shades of green, pale shades, also white and yellow, and they should avoid all heavy dark colors as much as possible. Their lucky stones are moonstones, cat's eyes, and pearls, and if possible you should wear a moonstone or a piece of moss agate next to their skin. Number 8. The number 8 stands in symbolism for the planet Saturn. This number influences all persons born on the 8th, 17th, or 26th of any month, but still more so if their birthday comes between the 21st December and the 26th January, which period is called the House of Saturn, positive, and from the 26th of January to February 19th to 26th, the period called the House of Saturn, negative. These people are invariably much misunderstood in their lives, and perhaps for this reason they feel intensely lonely at heart. They have deep and very intense natures, great strength of individuality. They generally play some important role on life's stage, but usually one which is fatalistic or as the instrument of fate for others. I should interrupt here and say that, for example, Jim Carrey was born on the 17th of January, which would fall under the, under the positive house of Saturn. And we see by what happened to him that he completely manifested this number. He was, as it's told here, he has deep and intense nature, great strength of individuality. He plays an important role on life stage, but usually one which is fatalistic. So basically, he was granted by Saturn the understanding of things, but people totally misunderstood him. They believed him to have gone crazy, but we see that this is not the case from the way that he can describe what happened to him. You see that he's not crazy. He's actually he has awakened, but people just totally misunderstand him. And this is the thing about the number 8. It's also called the number that clashes with human, with human understanding of the truth, which isn't the divine understanding of the truth. So basically, people tend to misjudge and condemn unfairly those people who are born under the number 8. So we can see exactly this manifesting in the life of Jim Carrey. So to continue, if at all religious, they go to extremes and are fanatics in their zeal. In any cause they take up, they attempt to carry it through in spite of all argument or opposition, and in doing so they generally make bitter and relentless enemies. They often appear cold and undemonstrative, though in reality they have warm hearts towards the oppressed of all classes, but they hide their feelings and allow people to think just what they please. The number 8 people are either great successes or great failures. There appears to be no happy medium in their case. If ambitious, they generally aim for public life or government responsibility of some kind, and often hold very high positions involving great sacrifice on their part. It is not, however, from a worldly standpoint, a fortunate number to be born under, and such persons are often called on to face the very greatest sorrows, losses, and humiliations. Now, more information about this number and number 4 is at the end of the post, as the number 8 should not attempt to strengthen the number by wearing its colors or taking important action on those days, because it's not a positive number. So at the end of the post you will find explanation about what to do if you were born under this number. The number 9. The number 9 stands in symbolism for the planet Mars. This number influences all persons born on the 9th, 18th, and 27th of any month, but still more so if their birthday falls in the period between the 21st March and April 19th to 26th, called the House of Mars Positive, or in the period between the 21st October and November 20th to 27th, called the House of Mars Negative. Number 9 persons are fighters in all they attempt in life. They usually have difficult times in their early years, but generally they are, in the end, successful by their grit, strong will, and determination. In character, they are hasty in temper, impulsive, independent, and desire to be their own masters. When the number 9 is noticed to be more than usually dominant in the dates and events of their lives, they will be found to make great enemies, to cause strife and opposition wherever they may be, and they are often wounded or killed either in warfare or in the battle of life. They have great courage and make excellent soldiers or leaders in any case they espouse. Their greatest dangers arise from foolhardiness and impulsiveness in word and action. They are also peculiarly prone to accidents from fire and explosions, and rarely get through life without injury from such causes. As a general rule, they go under many operations by the surgeon's knife. They usually experience many quarrels and strife in their home life, either with their own relations or with the family they marry into. They strongly resent criticism, and even when not conceited, they have always a good opinion of themselves, brooking no interference with their plans. They like to be looked up to and recognized as the head of the house. They are resourceful and excellent in organization, but they must have the fullest control. If not, they lose heart and stand aside and let things go to pieces. For affection and sympathy they will do almost anything, and the man of this number can be made into the greatest fool. So can be made the greatest fools of if some clever woman gets pulling at their heartstrings. As a rule, they get on with persons whose birth date is one of the series of 3, 6, or 9, such as those born on the 3rd, 6th, 9th, 12th, 15th, 18th, 21st, 24th, 27th, or 30th of any month. All these numbers are in harmonious vibration to the number 9 people. This number 9 has some very curious properties. It is the only number in calculation that, multiplied by any number, always reproduces itself. As for example, 9 times 2 is 18, and 8 plus 1 becomes again the 9, and so on with every number it is multiplied by. There are so many curious things connected with the number 9 that it would not be possible to deal with one half of them in a book of this description. This number is supposed to be a fortunate one to be born under, provided one controls it and is not carried away by the excesses of temper and violence that it also represents. The lucky colors for persons born under the number 9 are all shades of crimson or red, also all rose tones and pink. Their most important days in the week are Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, but more especially Tuesday, called Mars Day. Number 9 people should endeavor to carry out their plans and aims on all dates that fall under their own number, such as the 9th, 18th, or 27th in any month, but more especially when these dates fall in the period of the 9, between the 21st March and April 19th to 26th, or from the 21st October to November 20th to 27th, and when the 9th, 18th, or 27th falls on their own day, as mentioned above, or one of their interchangeable numbers, which are the 3 and 6, such as the 3rd, 6th, 12th, 15th, 21st, 24th, and 30th. Their lucky stones are the ruby, garnet, and bloodstone, and they should wear one of these stones next to their skin. For all purposes of occult calculation, the numbers 7 and 9 are considered the most important of all. The 7 has always been understood to relate to the spiritual plane, acting as the God or creative force on the earth. And being creative, it is the uplifting urge towards the higher development of the spiritual in humanity. The 9, on the contrary, being in the planetary world the representative of the planet Mars, is the number of physical force in every form, and consequently stands in relation to the material. When this explanation is carefully considered, it throws an illuminating light on that mysterious text in Revelation, chapter 13, verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, and his number is 666. This strange text has puzzled the theological mind for centuries, yet if you will take the trouble to add 666 together, you will get 18, and 1 plus 8 gives you the figure 9, which in turn represents the 9 planets of our solar system, the 9 numbers upon which man builds all his calculations, and beyond which he cannot go except by continual repetition of the numbers 1 to 9. 666, producing its spirit number as explained in the preceding page of 9, is therefore in all truth, as Revelation states, the number of man. The hidden meaning of this number is one of the greatest secrets of occultism, and has been concealed in 1,000 ways, just as the cryptic text in Revelation has hidden it for centuries from the minds of the theologians. The number 9, representing man and everything to do with the physical and material plane, is the number of force, energy, destruction, and war in its most dominant quality. In its relation to ordinary life, it denotes energy, ambition, leadership, dominion. It represents iron, the metal from which the weapons of warfare are made, and the planet Mars, which it stands for in astrology, is the ruler of the zodiacal sign Aries, which is the sign of the zodiac which governs England. The symbolism was evidently well known by Shakespeare when he wrote, "England, thou seat of Mars." The number 9 is an emblem of matter that can never be destroyed, so the number 9, when multiplied by any other number, always reproduces itself, no matter what the extent of the number is that has been employed. The Novendile was a fast in the Roman Catholic Church to avert calamities, and from this came the Roman Catholic system of novenes. In Freemasonry there is an order of 9 elected knights, And in the working of this order, 9 roses, 9 lights, and 9 knocks must be used. All ancient races encouraged a fear of the number 9 and all its multiples. The number 9 is considered a fortunate number to be born under, provided the man or woman does not ask for a peaceful or monotonous life and can control their nature in not making enemies. Additional advice for those born under the numbers 4 and 8. In previous chapters, I have already warned all those under the 4th and 8th, such as the persons born on the 4th, 8th, 13th, 17th, 22nd, 26th, and 31st to avoid all numbers, making an 8 or a 4 as much as possible, not to live in houses that have such numbers, and not to choose dates that make them. In preceding pages, I have gone into fuller details as to the 4 and 8 series, but briefly the rule for such persons to follow is never increase the power of these numbers. Consequently, they must not follow the rule laid down for those born under the other numbers, but on the contrary, they should do the very opposite. As they cannot alter their birth number, they can alter the number made by their name and cause it to produce one of more fortunate series, especially one of a strong vibration as 1, 3, 5, or 6. Just to interrupt here, I'm not going to go into the details of how to calculate number of your name, because I think an additional video has to be made about it, but just so that if you are interested in finding out now how to do it, just Google Chaldean numbers and calculate your name number in accordance with that particular system, because I do believe it's the most accurate, and Shiro also uses that particular system. So let me repeat what has been written here. As they cannot alter their birth number, they can alter the number made by their name and cause it to produce one of the more fortunate series, especially one of a strong vibration such as a 1, 3, 5, or 6. Having definitely fixed in this way that they are going to be represented by the strong number that they have made out of their name, they should then follow the rule I gave previously, namely, think of themselves as that number and do everything that is important on dates that make that number. If they do this and do it persistently, the number 4 or 8 persons will get away from the bad luck such people generally experience, and so become as equally fortunate as others. They must not, however, expect the change to be seen in a few days, as so many in their impatience do, but in a reasonable space of time they will see very marked results in their favor. So here you see that he explains the colors to be worn and the dates to be followed for people to increase the number 8 and influence, but as it's been told, it's better to avoid this influence altogether, so I'm not going to read out this part of text. And now the one that is relevant is the following. The number 8 is a difficult number to explain. It represents the two worlds, the material and the spiritual. It is, in fact, if one regards it like two circles just touching together, it is composed of two equal numbers, 4 and 4. From the earliest stages, it has been associated with the symbol of an irrevocable fate, both in connection with the lives of individuals or nations. In astrology, it stands for Saturn, which is also called the planet of fate. One side of the nature of this number represents upheaval, revolution, anarchy, waywardness, and eccentricities of all kinds. The other side represents philosophic thought, a strong leaning towards occult studies, religious devotion, concentration of purpose, zeal for any cause espoused, and a fatalistic outlook coloring all actions. All persons who have the number 8 clearly associated with their lives feel that they are distinct and different from their fellows. At heart, they are lonely, they are misunderstood, and they seldom reap the reward for the good they may do while they are living. After their death, they are often extolled, their works praised, and lasting tributes offered to their memory. And also, I'm remembering now in this particular book, Shiro also wrote that to know whether the number 8 really strongly influences you is if you also have number 4 as important in your life. For example, if you are born under number 8 and then you find yourself living in a house number 4, that means that you're definitely strongly influenced by this number and that you should try to escape from it as much as possible. And this also applies if you keep seeing numbers 22, which is the case with me. This is the master number, the number of master builder, and it's some numerologists believe it to be positive, but they also see that most people cannot handle the strong number and it can destroy them. So if you find that numbers 22 or 4 appear in your life quite often, it means that you are strongly ruled by the planet Saturn, by the number 8, and you should try, if you choose so, I would, to escape that influence. Continuing the quote, those on the lower plane generally come into conflict with human justice and have some tragic ending to their lives. Those on the higher plane carry their misunderstood motives and lay bare the tragedy of their souls before divine justice. Napoleon Bonaparte, also Shiro says, was born on the lower plane, was influenced by this number, but he was on the lower plane as seen from his life as judged by Shiro. To distinguish in which of these two classes a number 8 person falls, one must find by the comparison of their fadic numbers if they are completely dominated by the recurrence of fate in the principal events of their lives, or if some other equally powerful number such as the 1, 3, or 6 series does not more or less balance the sequel of events registered under 8 and all its series. So basically what it says here is that you to understand whether you're really ruled by the number 8 is to see whether its fadic numbers occur in your life. Like I said, it can be either 4, like 22, 2 plus 2 is 4, 22 is the fadic number, or it could be like 17, 1 plus 7 is 8, or 26, 2 plus 6 is 8. So again, it doesn't have to be just that you see a number 4 or number 8. It can be fadic numbers, 17, 26, 35, and all the others making up 8. Or it could be 4 or 22. Continuing the quote, if the latter is the case, one may be sure that by the long series of reincarnations they have passed through, they have paid the price in some former state and are now passing towards the higher, where divine justice will give them their reward. So this also says that if you're not, you can be seeing number 22, 4, or 8, but you also see in an equal degree some number that's not related to these fate numbers. So it could be that you see 1, 3, 6, or 12, which is 1 plus 2 is 3, and so forth. So if you see also in an equal degree some number that is not connected with numbers 4 or 8, it means you're not as strongly influenced by this number as people who just see number 4, number 8, or number 22, or the fadic numbers of those digits. If, on the contrary, you will find that the person is completely dominated by the number 8, always recurring in important events, or if instead of 8, the nearly equally fatalistic number of 4 is continually recurring, we may then be sure that we are in the presence of one of those strange playthings of fate, with the possibilities that tragedy may be interwoven in their destiny. I have received more information about persons born under the numbers 4 and 8. I have received so many letters from number 4 and 8 people asking for advice that I think it will be useful to devote an entire chapter to such cases. Out of every 100 letters, fully 80 write testifying to the accuracy of my system of numbers, especially as regards to the hard luck that appears to pursue persons who have the combination of 4 and 8 continually cropping up in their lives. The 4 in itself and all its series is not so much to be dreaded, Persons born on the 4th, 13th, 22nd, and 31st will find these dates and numbers the most important in their lives, but as the 4 in numerology is always associated with the number 1, and in nearly all systems is written as 4-1 or 1-4, and as the 1 is a strong and powerful number, I advise the number 4 persons to use the strong number as much as possible and select all dates such as the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th for their most important efforts, and to endeavor to live in houses whose number or the addition of whose number makes a number 1. They should also remember that as what is called the interchangeable numbers of the 1-4 series are the 2-7 and all their series, they need not be afraid of such dates or numbers as the 2nd, 6th, 11th, 16th, 20th, 25th, or 29th. It is only when the combination of the 4 and 8 are continually cropping up that those born under such numbers should do their utmost to avoid them. Example, a man born on either the 4th, 13th, 22nd, or 31st marries a woman born on either the 8th, 17th, or 26th. He will most certainly find that 4s and 8s will influence his life more than any other number, generally bringing sadness, ill luck, or terrible blows of fate in their train. To this number 4 man or woman, I decidedly say to avoid using all 4s and 8s and use the number 1 series instead, and for the next best use, the 2-7 series. For some reason, due probably to the law of magnetic vibration, 4 and 8 people generally attract one another, but from a purely worldly standpoint, the combination cannot be considered lucky. They often show the highest devotion to one another during illness and misfortune, and some of the greatest examples of self-sacrifice are found when 4s and 8s marry or make a combination together. Number 8 persons belong to a still more fatalistic law of vibration and appear to be children of fate more than any other class. They can be just as noble in character, as devoted and self-sacrificing as the best of their fellow mortals, but they seldom get the reward that they are entitled to. If they rise in life to a high position, it is generally one of grave responsibility, anxiety, and care. Such persons can become rich, but wealth seldom brings them happiness, and for love they are generally called on to pay too high a price. My advice to them is, if they find the 4s and 8s continually coming into their lives and associated with sorrow, disappointment, ill fate, and ill luck, they should determinedly avoid such numbers and all their series. They should in any case so alter their name number, following the examples I have given in previous chapters, to produce one of the more fortunate series, such as 1, 3, 5, or 6, and carry out their plans on dates that make these numbers. If they will do this, they will completely alter their ill luck and control, as it were, the curious fate that appears to follow them. If, however, they prefer, as many do, to carry out the full force and meaning of their number 8, without caring what the worldly result may be, in that case they should do exactly as I have said for the other numbers, and do everything important on dates and numbers that make the 8, such as the 8th, 17th, 26th, and also the 4th, 13th, 22nd, and 31st. If they do this, they will be equally successful, but in leading peculiarly fatalistic lives, being, if I may use the expression, marked people in whatever path of life they may make their own. Many have written to ask how to change from an unlucky or fatalistic set of numbers to more fortunate ones. This question is generally asked by people who are born under the series of 4s and 8s, and who have proved, as I have said, that all combinations of such numbers have been more or less associated with fatalistic events in the life. In such cases, when persons are born on the 4th, 13th, 22nd, or 31st in any month, they should try to avoid doing important things on dates making the 8, or any of its combinations, such as the 8th, 17th, 6th, 26th, and take instead the number 1 series, or the number of the zodiacal period of the month they are born in. For example, a person born between February 19th and March 20th being in the period of the 3, if they happen to be born on February 22nd or 26th or on March 4th, 8th, 30th, 13th, 17th, or 22nd, we will find it more likely for them to use the 3 series instead of their birth number, the 4 or 8. In fact, in such cases, it will be better for them to drop the birth number altogether. The same rule will apply to all the other month periods of the year, with the exception of the period from December 21st to January 20th. The period of the number 8 positive, and from January 21st to February 19th, the period of number 8 negative. If born in these 2 periods, the 4 and 8 people must not select the number of the month period, because if they did, they would only increase the number of the 4 and 8. I advise them in such cases to take the number of the month period exactly opposite to their zodiac period, which is for December 21st to January 20th. The opposite numbers are those of June 21st to July 20th, which if they refer to page 55 of this book, they will find is the period of the... For people born January 21st to February 19th, the opposite period of the zodiac is July 31st to August 20th, the numbers of which are 1-4. By following this rule, all people the 4 and 8 for their birth number will be able to select numbers to use in place of the series of their 4s and 8s, and by employing the new numbers will in a short time begin to notice how much more fortunate their lives have become. They should employ also the color and jewels which their new numbers indicate instead of those given for the 4s and 8s. I feel sure this information will be useful to many hundreds who have asked questions on this extremely important point. Many number 2 persons have written and asked me why it is that they find, as well as their own number, the 2, 11, 20, and 29th, that the 8 appears to have a great importance in their lives. The reason for this is that the 8, being a very strong number with a fatalistic tendency, tries to dominate the weaker number 2, which has a relation to itself as 4 times 2 is 8. But the 8 is not a happy combination when it comes into the lives of number 2 persons, and it should always be regarded as a warning of sorrow and disappointment and fatalistic experiences of some kind. The 4 will also be found to have a great deal of influence with number 2 persons, but this is because it not only represents the double of the number 2, but it's also one of the interchangeable numbers, such as 1 and 4 are the interchangeable numbers of the 2 and 7.